write a great first page that hooks readers immediately. After all, readers don't just judge a book by its cover. The first page also plays a big role. Today, I'm sharing tips on how to write a memorable first page so that you could captivate readers right off the bat. Let's get started! Hey guys, Nour here, and welcome back to my channel. For those visiting for the first time, hello! I'm the fantasy author of the novel Divinity Falling. Be sure to subscribe for weekly writing advice videos. Did you know that readers often judge a book by its first page? Even though I tend to be patient with books and try to read past the first chapter before I judge, I'm also guilty of this. Last summer, I started reading a popular book only to give up on it after a slow start. Now, given the fact that it's popular, I'm assuming that it does pick up. But that slow start ruined it for me. This is how you should view your readers, because more often than not, they will be impatient, especially when they're not familiar with your work yet. I already have a video on 9 ways to write a killer first chapter that you could check out in the card here. But I wanted to dive even deeper on this subject by discussing how to write a memorable first page. After all, those initial paragraphs can make or break it for you. My first tip is to make sure that your first page, and your entire chapter for that matter, has tension. You might be thinking, it's the start of a story. Shouldn't I introduce the characters first before I add tension? And the answer is no. You should obviously introduce your characters, which will be my next point. However, tension must be present on the page. After all, why should readers keep reading? If all you do is introduce characters and that's it, how do you expect readers to be hooked? A great example of tension right from the first page can be found in Scythe by Neil Shusterman. If you haven't read it yet, here's the book's premise. The world no longer has hunger, disease, war, or misery. Humanity has even conquered death. So now, scythes are the only ones who could end life to ensure the world isn't overpopulated. And here's how Neil Shusterman starts the first page. A scythe shows up to one of the main characters' house. Every member of the household is terrified. Each one of them is wondering if one of them will die. Because when a scythe shows up, they show up to kill, and people can't do a thing about it because it's the law. And so right off the bat, we have tension. We are hooked and we want to know if one of the characters is about to die. Will the main character have to fight for her life? We're full of questions and we're eager to learn more. Neil Shusterman could have easily started the first page differently. We could have been with the main character at school as she learned the history of scythes, but that wouldn't have been as intriguing. So yes, tension is very important. The best books have tension right on the first page. And if your story doesn't start with tension, then consider revising it. My second tip is to make a great first impression with your characters. After all, you only have one first impression, so make it count. You can do this by showing your character's personality. Are they rebels? Show their rebellion in action. Maybe they're up to no good and running away from the police. Are they tricksters? Maybe they're cracking jokes in the middle of an inappropriate situation. Are they ambitious? Maybe they're having a strong conversation with a school administrator about their grades. No matter what your character's personality is, show it off. Let them really introduce themselves to the reader. Characters that show personality are more likely to hook readers, because readers will feel compelled by them. And my last tip for you is to ground your readers. Don't just write a full page without indicating when and where the scene takes place. Are we in today's world or the 16th century? Are we in America, Japan, or France? Or are we somewhere else entirely, perhaps another planet? Or maybe we're in a completely different universe. Plus, be sure to ground your reader further by indicating exactly where your character is. Are they in a bedroom, in a dungeon, or on a plane? Just because you could visualize where your characters are doesn't mean that your readers can. So be sure to make it very clear. So that's all I have for you today. I'd love to know, do you like any of these elements in your first page? Let me know in the comments. If you're new to my channel, be sure to subscribe. I put out weekly writing advice videos that will take your story to the next level. Also, don't forget to follow me on social media to see what I'm up to from day to day and to chat with me. And before we go, I just want to give a quick shout out to Sarah Frayne, Lori B, and Alan J. Early from my shout out tier over on Patreon, as well as all my amazing patrons. Thank you all so much for your support. I really appreciate you. And remember, Nour for president!